Good evening, Cubs and Cardinals fans. It's Thursday, February 26th, and this is the Team of Rivals podcast. Tonight's show features a proud Cardinals tradition, a Cubs player making himself deeply unpopular with an opponent, but with a soupçon of backstabbing. We'll also discuss baseball's latest attempt to embarrass its employees into doing their jobs, but now with graphics. Plus, we'll examine this year's Cardinals Hall of Fame ballot by asking who gets to join Albert and Yadi in September. And finally, a Chicago landmark may soon be sitting around with nothing to do on Sundays, and I've got an idea of what to do with it. It's all prologue, though, to Ron's Soccer Minute. Let's do this.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Touchdown! No!
Born into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and this.
Doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down. Michael for three. Yes! She is gone!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
Welcome to this week's Team of Rivals podcast. We're streaming live tonight, as always, on X, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. So if you're watching this live with us, thanks, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a show. You can also follow us on social media at Team of Rivals Pod for show updates, clips, schedule changes, and whatever explanation we come up with this week for why we're starting at 8:38 instead of 8:30. Joining me as always, TOR co-founder, ranked number 171 on C70's 2024 list of top cards on Twitter, and a man who will be leaving the show in approximately 12 minutes to let you guys have your Cubs segment. Ron Nuttall.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'll wander off.
That's right. And our permanent occasional guest host, a diehard Cubs fan who spent the last 3 days researching whether angering Dodgers fans can be sustainably leveraged into a higher war. It's Elliott Dewey.
It can. It definitely can.
Good to know. Good to know. Before we get into leveraging it into higher war, gentlemen, the announcement was made earlier this week. We've got our 4 finalists for the 2026 Cardinals Hall of Fame. And Ron, I asked a question in the cold open. Ron, you want to do this so that your camera focuses on you? No? Okay, great. Then I'll just put you in the big screen. Who's going to join Yadi and Albert for a Hall of Fame induction, or is it just going to be the two of them? In case you missed it, our 4 finalists, Albert, Yadi, George Hendrick, and Brian Jordan.
Well, they're all Cardinals. I think all 4 of them should probably walk
Into the Cardinals Hall of Fame?
The Cardinals Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Evidently, you only have to play like 2.5 years in a St. Louis. Have a couple magic moments, and you can be in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Guys, the team Hall of Fames are nice because, I guess that's one way to recognize memorable players throughout the years, even though maybe they didn't qualify for Hall of Fame. It's just that I think I'm universal. At least I'm consistent in this thought, and I'm all about democracy until we talk about sports fans. And I'm not. Okay. Fans voting on All-Stars, fans voting on Team Hall of Fame. To me, it just doesn't, it doesn't do much for me. And I say this, and it sounds completely ignorant when I go, yeah, but I trust the baseball writers.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Hall of Fames get it right, do they?
I don't think any of them do.
Hockey probably does, just because nobody pays attention to it, and so of course they get it right.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure, I don't. Yadi and Albert will get the statues outside of the stadium. I still think Albert will, even though he did leave. He had 10, 11 incredibly amazing years.
I mean, he's played, if not the best, clearly one of the best Cardinals to ever play the game. And I think you could probably make a pretty strong argument that he is the best Cardinal. I mean, you're going to have your contingent of Stan Musial fans who are going to be able to make a really strong case.
Yeah.
But I mean, the numbers he put up and with the consistency that he put it up.
Well, I think a lot. I think that has to do mostly, Pete, with the consistency in his first 10 years was definitely they called him the machine for a reason. He was batting over 300, over 100 RBIs and over 30 home runs.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it, right? It wasn't that he was particularly dominant in one area. He was good in all three of the Triple Crown categories. And there aren't many players who can say that.
No. But you look at Stan Musial and I think the home runs favor Pujols certainly at the end of his career, maybe even the RBIs. I don't have them in front of me side by side, but I think if Albert stays in the Cardinals uniform, even when he was having some down years and later in his career, if he would have stayed there the whole time, you would have Generation X Cardinals fans Generation X and forward calling Albert Pujols the best Cardinal to ever wear the uniform, and you would have every generation before that saying Stan Musial was the best Cardinal to ever wear the uniform, and they're both great. I don't know how you can really argue one or the other. But if Albert would have stayed in the uniform, it would have. I don't think most people would have been divided. But anyway, my point is,
although how much of a difference would it have made? Because he didn't put up the kind of numbers with the Angels that he put up with the Cards.
True. And he may have put up those exact same numbers in St. Louis. Who knows? Or they could have been better. I just don't know.
I mean, he would have gotten to face Cubs pitching a heck of a lot more. So that would have given him at least
and Pittsburgh
30 more home runs.
Like teeing off on a lot of those National League Central teams.
That's right.
But you never know. I mean, you don't know. I mean, it could have been worse. I mean, we have no way of knowing that at this point. Yadi is no brainer. Both those guys are going to get the Cardinals Hall of Fame. There's no question about that. They'll both have a statue outside the stadium. I'm pretty certain.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's a more rare event. I mean, you have to be, I don't think there's any rule on this, but if you're a National Baseball Hall of Famer and you went in as a Cardinals player, you're going to have that statue outside. I think that's how they do it. Now, I don't know if they have a rule around that or not, but
will George Hendrick, in your opinion, do you think George Hendrick or Brian Jordan get red jackets?
George Hendrick, I'm ill-equipped to answer that one. I mean, he was a popular player, but it was before my time when I really was paying attention, right? Brian Jordan's a tough one for me. He had some great years, but to me doesn't stand out as even a team Hall of Fame player. He was a really good player, and especially towards I think his last season was maybe 1998. I think it was 1998 was his last season with St. Louis.
Spot on.
So he had, he played for many years in Atlanta after that. He's a broadcaster there is now. I just don't think he had the performance over a long enough period of time that I would put him in there. I certainly liked him as a player. But then again, David Freese got in there because of that World Series run. Wouldn't have been because, for no other reason, but that's why he got in. The whole postseason run, I should say, probably not being fair. That's why he's in there. I don't know that Brian Jordan ever gave us like that one big run or that one big moment. He was a nice player, but not a Hall of Fame player, even for the team, I don't think. I say that because luckily we didn't have him on that one time. I might have been forced to say something else because we're shills.
That's right.
He couldn't make it. He had a good reason for not making it.
Elliott, anything of value to contribute on this topic?
I will say one thing, that you're probably not going to have Angels fans clamoring for Albert Pujols to retire as an Angel.
You don't think so?
No, they kind of got the worst end of the stick. So that's unfortunately, right. So
yeah, I think we're going to see two guys putting on red jackets in September, and their names aren't George or Brian.
No, I don't think so. I mean, especially with Pujols and Yadi being the other two there, they're gonna have most of everybody paying attention to them too, and that's it.
100%. I guess that's kind of everything. Ron, did you happen to catch the PCA kerfuffle that has popped up this week?
Big boy, you're gonna have to say that again because I was typing to somebody at work and was not paying attention whatsoever.
Did you happen to catch everything that happened with Pete Crow-Armstrong this week vis-a-vis the Dodgers?
He was talking some shit.
He was.
I don't have a problem with that.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw it up just in case. I don't know how anybody could have missed it, but just in case anyone did, I'm just going to pull it up here on the screen so that everybody can see it here. I guess I can't be in full screen. Well, that's no fun. Yeah, he was interviewed for, I think it was Chicago Magazine, and that was when he first had some positive things to say, and then he just doubled down. So there we go. So when comparing Cubs fans to Dodgers fans, he said Cubs fans give a shit. They aren't just baseball fans who go to the game like Dodgers fans to take pictures. They're paying attention. And then went on to say, I love Chicago more and more. The people are great. They aren't just baseball fans who go to the game like Dodgers fans to take pictures and whatever. They care.
Yeah.
And then when who was it who went Foul Territory spent the day at Cubs camp. What was it, 2 days ago, Elliott? I think it was.
Yeah.
It was on Tuesday. They were doing their 30 camps in 30 days.
30 for 30. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they dropped in with Pete, and he had this to say. Let me make sure that I'm sharing the audio. This is the one I wonder if you caught, Ron, simply because the audio was fun. But anyway, we'll go ahead and we will. Oh wait, I just saw something new. Hey, what do you know? Maybe we can. Nope. Okay, never mind. Anyway, here we go.
I can't hear anything.
Can't hear it? Hold, please. Go ahead and we'll I'm going to stop sharing and share again so that you guys can have the audio.
It's going to be great for the audio portion of this.
It is. It's going to be fantastic.
Tell you what, while he's pulling it back up for our podcast downloaders, the ones that don't watch the stream, and I don't blame you. I mean, like, you have nothing else better to do on a weeknight to go to YouTube or whatever and put us up on your screen or hold us in front of your face on your phone. All right. Do we have sound on this yet? Pete is attempting to play a clip from Pete Crow-Armstrong.
We should have sound on this now.
Chance to really
we good?
Back that statement up with the fact that has nothing to do with Doc. That has nothing to do with Shohei, any of the players over there. I love Mookie Betts. I look up to him like crazy. Freddie's only ever been great to me. If anything, those are the guys that have given these fans a reason to be fans. And, I grew up going to Dodgers games when they weren't always good, when they had Manny Wood pop up. But it's like they go in phases, and I remember all fans fight and stuff, but putting the Giants fan in the coma, that stuck with me as a kid. Just little things, and sitting in the stands, just nasty stuff goes on. I didn't always experience that at other ballparks. But like I said, that has nothing to do with who's actually on the field for them. I love playing against them. And I just love what they're doing right now, because they're creating a dynasty. But I want to take them down too. And again,
I love it.
All the people that are up in the bleachers.
It sounds to me like he stopped himself before he hit a little bit of the air brakes
before he said everything he wanted to say.
He kept really saying what he wanted to say. He's like, I don't want to offend the team.
Although this is the second time he said it, right? So it's not like they weren't already aware of what he had said.
He's basically pulled I'll pull one of my own examples out of here because this is kind of similar-ish, but you guys remember Brandon Phillips, right? He liked to run his mouth a little bit. Good player, though. At least he could back it up. I'm not saying Pete Crow-Armstrong can't because clearly he can. But I hate the Cardinals. They're a bunch of bitches. And and you know what happened the next series? There was that behind the plate brawl that started with him and Yadi. Imagine you're surprised.
Didn't he did his thing where he taps the catcher's
hello to the catcher,
and then
away.
Yep.
Yeah. Now the words were different, but I feel it's the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's similar. I mean, what I really liked about it is he's not speaking from a player's perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about Dodgers fans having sat in the bleachers with them and having seen how, right. He grew up in LA, having seen how they conduct themselves at games. And he's well aware of them showing up late and leaving early and not really paying attention to the game. And then the diehards, and he mentions it. I don't think I got it in that clip, but he mentions how he was there and he remembers when they put that one Padres fan in a coma because he got beat up by a bunch of Dodgers fans. It's like, they're not exactly the best people in the world. So I'm looking forward to the first opportunity when he comes to the plate in LA later this year. I think it'll be great.
Well, he's definitely given perhaps, and this might benefit the Dodgers. Perhaps when they're playing the Cubs, they show up a little bit earlier, a little bit more fire in their belly.
The team doesn't care.
No, not the team. I'm talking about there'll be
fans. They're not going to show.
Yeah.
Have you been to a game at Dodger Stadium?
I have not actually. I've been outside of Chavez Ravine for a training mission with the LAPD. Not that I was with the LAPD, but we coordinated something with them, and I was outside of it. But I've never been in it, and I've never been to a game there.
Elliott, have you?
No, I've never been to a game out there.
I've been to two games.
I've been to Petco, but that's about it.
I've been to 2 games at Dodger Stadium. Once with an LA native. And when I said we got to leave to get to the game, the response was, why? I said, because the game's going to start at whatever time it was, 7:05 or whatever it was. They said, I want to be in our seats by the time the game starts. Why? Because we're going to watch the baseball game. Oh,
yeah.
Get there whenever we get there.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You don't want to be there for first pitch? Are you kidding me?
We don't roll that way. I'm there when the gates open when I go.
Yep. And then when the beer stops, so basically around the 7th inning, they're ready to go. What are we doing? The game's not over. It's a 1-run game. We got to be in traffic, man. We're going to be out here in the parking lot for an hour and a half.
And we're going to be live trying to get the,
Then you have your post-game sodas.
Yeah. What is the problem? So,
that culture's been well known. I don't know how much of it. It sounds like Pete's been there, so it's not really a myth. And if you're watching a game on TV, a lot of yellow, because that's what color some of the seat backs are, right? You see a lot of yellow all of a sudden.
And you've also seen, especially if it's a national broadcast, they're not going to embarrass them like that. But if it's, a regional broadcast, if it's the away broadcast and you're watching it, they'll pull out to give you the shots of the red lights in the parking lot in the 7th inning as they're looking to get the hell out of there.
Oh, look, they got the Christmas lights up already. No, that's just traffic.
Nope, that's the line of cars.
So it's pretty decently early in the year. So it's a weekend. They'll have a weekend series, April 24th, 25th, 26th. One game is nationally broadcasted on Fox. So
they'll be talking about this the whole time.
So this will be a big thing.
There won't be any storylines to cover.
But that's okay. I mean, you know what? And they're not in the same division, but they're 2 big cities, right? Like,
and the Cubs have made some significant moves.
Yeah.
To be a contender this offseason.
Yeah. So
there's been a little bit back and forth, especially with last year when they opened the season in Japan. They're Japan heavy, players.
That Elliott, but also it's like, I think there's another element to this that adds to the tension or the friction, if you will. And that is Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers, right? So you've got
big time.
And I get where Armstrong's coming from, but he could have said this last year too. He could have said the year before that. I think that maybe there's a little bit more spice in what he said. And the ingredient is that he had a teammate leave for the Dodgers. And I think that's playing into this. Now he's probably going to say, no, it doesn't matter. But I have a feeling that has a little bit to do with it too.
Well, and also, would he have been asked about this? Would he have been asked his opinion this time last year? Right? Like Chicago Magazine did this profile on him. You know, he's now a star, right? He's a national star. I wouldn't go so far as to say he's a superstar, but he's a star. Chicago Magazine's not going to do a profile on him when he's a guy who has put up, a couple of good months. But, now that he's somebody who was in the MVP conversation for the first half of the last season, there's going to be a little bit more interest in him and people are going to pay attention to him.
I wasn't supposed to be on this shift of the podcast. I was supposed to be trailing off.
That's right. Yeah. We're 21 minutes in. What the hell, Ron?
Well,
You're supposed to be gone by now.
Look, I think it's, I'm pretty genuine when I say I think baseball struggles at times for storylines that interest me. When you get a little bit of trash talk like this between a couple big teams, in big cities, I'm ears perked up. All right, baseball's got something interesting going on. Okay.
I think this part of the game keeps it healthy. And I think it brings in other interested parties who, even if they have no investment in either team, they want to be there and they want to watch just in case something happens. So, and I think that's what part of baseball has missed these last couple of years, kind of like in the NFL where you've got the buddy thing. But right now, one of the biggest stories, even this past week with the combine going on, they're talking to Ben Johnson about, hey, what's the deal with you and the Packers and Matt LaFleur? And I mean, Ben Johnson, we could talk about this later, but Ben Johnson kind of doubled down on everything. And I thought it was fantastic. And I think that's part of what's missing with some of these storylines between some of these teams.
Yeah. Well, and Elliott, I think that now's the great time to talk about it because they are both in the same vein. And I think that it's something that, obviously old guys like us who are screaming at the clouds all the time as Ron goes away, this is what we grew up with, right? We grew up with rivalries. We grew up with players on opposite teams not liking each other. And with the advent, because obviously free agency existed when we were younger, but with the widespread commonality of free agency, right? When there are very, very few players who play their entire careers with a single team anymore, you're not going to develop that animosity towards another team the way that they did when we were young. And that's why it was so refreshing for us, as much as we complained about it, but still, that's why it was so refreshing for us that Yadi and for most of his career, Albert Pujols were only on the Cardinals. And so they could be the targets of our ire, the same as Anthony Rizzo, right? Until he left and went to the Yankees, the only team he ever knew was the Cubs. So of course he didn't like the Cardinals,
right? Or the Reds either. And there was a lot between them. And I think some of that has helped a little bit too, when you have a player leave and go to that other team. Who was it? Was it Terrio that went to, he was the first one that did it, that went to the Cardinals.
He wasn't the first one that did it. He was the first one that did it and mouthed off about it.
Right. And said, now I'm on the right side of the rivalry. And then,
World Series champion though.
That's right. Cardinals legend.
Fine. And that's fine. But it makes,
along with Corey
it heats up the fans just a little bit more. And it does for the players too. Those players want to play a little bit harder to win because they have somebody that left their team and is now it's kind of like when you're in grade school and you're lined up and you got two guys and you have one of your friends run over to the other side of the team. And you're like, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, now we're going to win. So, you just want to try just a little bit harder.
Terrio. I mean, Terrio, I don't think he ever dug his heels in as an everyday starter in any position, but who overtook him in Chicago and gave him like a little bit less at bats, less playing time? Who did he get supplanted by kind of?
Was that Starlin Castro?
Castro.
I think it was Castro that came in because he was only like 21. 20 or 21 when he came in, and he was like
a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, like, hey,
although it seems a little bit more manufactured and more personal when it's something like that, right? Like, it didn't seem nearly as genuine when it was Wilson Contreras as when Yadi or Albert or Rizzo or going away from our rivalry when Joey Votto would talk shit about another team, right? Like, if you have a long-standing player who is only with one team, that animosity and that dislike for another team seems more genuine, right?
I don't know how many games you went to. I went to at least 3 Reds games where Votto was playing, and I'm sure that he gave kids baseballs at games or tossed a ball in the crowd. But I distinctly remember 2. I went to 1 Reds game in Cincinnati and 2 in St. Louis. He didn't throw one goddamn ball into the stands.
Well, you remember there was the one Cubs game where he launched one onto the roof. A kid was asking for a ball and he threw it up in the air and everybody thought that he was throwing it over the net.
Yeah.
And he launched it onto the roof.
And that's not by accident.
No, of course not.
And I shouldn't laugh at that, but it's funny to me.
But I mean, unless you're somebody
the villain a little bit, so
yeah, unless you're somebody insane like Tommy Pham or Milton Bradley, right? You're not doing that unless you're with one team for a long time, and so you're able to lean into that. And also, you develop those rivalries with particular teams because you see them so much during the course of the season.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with
that.
Because
I couldn't stand that guy when he's in his prime, obviously, because the Reds had a stretch there where they were pretty good.
Yeah.
By the way, I was like thinking about it, and that rivalry between that fight with Brandon Phillips and Yadier Molina was over 15 years ago. In fact, it'll be 16 years in August.
Well, we're coming up on what? Is it 12, 13 years, Elliott, when Rizzo threatened to take on the whole Reds bench?
Oh, yeah, when he threw his glove down and he started walking down into the dugout to fight everybody because they were chirping at him.
Yep.
And he had it.
What is it with the Reds? What is it with the Reds and pissing people off? Because let's not forget that the best form tackle that Major League Baseball has ever seen came against the Reds.
Farnsworth.
That's Kyle Farnsworth. Have you seen him lately?
Yeah, he's playing middle linebacker.
I mean, I don't know if you're joking or not, but he should be.
No, I'm not. He plays middle linebacker for a semi-pro league. Either middle linebacker or defensive end.
Why doesn't he try out for the UFL? Is that a little bit, maybe that's still a little bit too much?
Might be a little too old.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's right around our age, I think. He's like 40.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I threw Sunday. I took the boys to the batting cage and probably threw 200 pitches to them. We had to use the machine tonight.
All right. I'm sorry. I screwed up. Defensive end. There you go.
That makes more sense, though.
Following a 16-season Major League Baseball career, former pitcher Kyle Farnsworth became a standout semi-pro football player, joining the Orlando Phantoms as a defensive end in 2015. At age 39, he dominated in the Florida Football Alliance, leading his team with 41 tackles and 11 sacks while earning all-star honors.
It's not surprising. I mean, the way that guy's built, I mean,
6'4", 230.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember him being one of like the first
end.
pitchers that was in shape.
At 39.
Yeah, crazy.
He wasn't in shape. He was jacked.
Well, yes.
I mean,
yes.
He wasn't like he is now. I've seen like social media posts he's put out. I'm like, holy Jesus. He wouldn't be able to throw a baseball now. But no. He was not. He wasn't the size he was in his 40s, but he was built. But I think you're right, Elliott.
He got the size that he did so that he could play football
for semi-pro. I mean, Major League Baseball was just a means to an end.
Correct.
Right. But Pete,
and the end being to bed as many single ladies in Wrigleyville as possible after the games.
Goes without saying. But yeah, Elliott, I think you're right. That's the first picture that I looked at. I'm like, wow, you always hear you shouldn't put on that much size and muscle as a pitcher. You got to maintain that flexibility and all that. Like this guy is like bucking that trend, I think.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, because usually you're either kind of a wiry pitcher or you're overweight and you throw your midsection around to get that velocity.
He's a big, tall guy like Randy Johnson and
Nolan Ryan.
You're releasing the ball 30 feet away from
he
the
had
plate.
that one flexi bow thing he advertised on, line, a late night infomercial, to strengthen the shoulders and arm.
Yep.
I saw a social media post on, and I remember watching this all the time. Defensive drills,
Tom Amansky.
It might have been where you call, they send you the videotape, get your credit card out, and you're like, this is bullshit. Oh wait, it's endorsed by the crime dog.
Yeah, that's Tom Amansky.
There you go. I wish I could find a copy of that. I mean, I'm sure I could find it on YouTube.
Ron, and it's a good thing it's far enough away. You just nailed down your Christmas gift this year, so you're welcome, buddy.
I don't have a VHS player though anymore.
I'll get it digitized for you.
I don't have a CD player either.
You won't need to. I'll send you the files.
Send me the file. Christmas file. Okay.
That's right. Merry Christmas. Add this to your Plex library. All right, boys. Before we get into baseball, or football, I mean, there is something that I wanted to show you guys, and I don't know if you caught the repost or anything. I was kind of hoping that it'd slip through this so that I could surprise you, but a little shout out to our buddy Augie Nash. Love his posts. I usually find at least one a day that I can like and repost from our account.
I wish you guys had an Augie Nash for the Cubs, because
me too. I'm sure there is one out there, but
it's no exaggeration. He's like literally one of the few I do not mute, just because what he puts. I don't know where he finds some of the pictures he finds, but they're fantastic. You'll find old programs from like spring training or buttons that were given out, or where Sportsman's Park used to be, or the last play at Sportsman's Park. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is. Well, I got to tell you guys, I did find one this week, and I didn't even realize it. Just how good Augie is. He somehow managed to uncover tape from Cardinals spring training in the early, I think it was in the early 80s, maybe it was the late 70s. I don't know. Did you guys catch this one?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Is it out there on X? He's posted it recently.
Yeah, I think it might be. But anyway, it's early videotape from a batting practice session for Ozzie Smith. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull this up here, and we have the audio going too.
Let me tag him on our X post. See if he's around. Delay
maybe
this.
He'll jump in and he can explain where he got this for us. So
delay this as much as you can. I
will. I'll go ahead and I don't think we'll get copyright strike for this one, but here we go. Ron, you're going to want to pay attention to this here.
I'm tagging Augie. I love it.
Now you're probably wondering, why did I pull the bait and switch, and why am I running a scene for Major League? Well, you'll understand soon enough.
Well, you may run like Mays, but you hit like shit. With your speed, you should hit the ball on the ground and be legging them out. Every time I see you hit one in the air, you owe me 20 push-ups.
No problem.
All right, so, and you say to yourself, okay, Pete, that's funny. We know you like Major League, but here's why. And this is our Augie post for the night. Cardinals coach Chuck Hiller teaching Ozzie Smith how to chop down on a ball at spring training in 1982. Adi and Whitey Herzog had a bet. For every ball hit on the ground, Ozzie got $1. For every ball hit in the air, Whitey got $1. And I immediately thought of that clip from Willie Mays Hayes. So went ahead and reposted it with a link to that. And Augie did like it, and I think he reposted it, but he definitely liked it. So he appreciated the sense of humor there. But I loved seeing that pop up.
Yeah, we didn't hear back, and I imagine that we had a short email.
Imagine that he has better things to do.
He definitely has better things to do. But his Aussie's manager, because there's a guy that lives in the neighborhood that used to be work for the city of St. Louis. Fortunately, I can't remember like which department in the city he worked for, but he knew Ozzie Smith's manager, had a professional like connection with her. And like, oh, sure. Yeah, we'll and, he reached out on our behalf and, hey, would Ozzie be interested in talking to these guys? It's a Cub Cardinals podcast, guys from the St. Louis area, and 2 buddies are from Chicago. But she's like, sure. Well, you know what? Ozzie, is a busy time of the year for him, but we'll check out your show and get back to you. I'm sure they checked out our show
and did not get back to us. What do you know?
and said no, or it's just been buried in my email, and they were like more than willing to come on. And of course, I didn't follow up.
Well, boy, if we ever do get him on, I am asking him about that.
Oh, you got to, yeah, sure.
Now, come on, that's a great story.
That's a great story.
Love to hear him talk about it. All right.
He answered a question that I posted back in the internet days, right? Just pure internet. We had no smartphones, no social media. It was on sportsillustrated.com. I bet I could find it because I took a screenshot of it. I asked a question about, showboating on home runs. Like, how long has this been going on for? He answered it. And he said, sometimes it goes back to minor league days. Maybe they played each other in high school. And he's like, sometimes that's where it comes from. So it's not always about showing up a player. Some of it might go deep back in history that you don't even know about. So he answered it. It was like back in 1999 or 98.
Wow, that's cool. You had you had no gray then, right?
Not one.
Well, that's because you didn't have any kids yet. You were close, but
I could have, but I didn't.
You could have. You lucked out. All right, so gents, transitioning to football, but not football. We'll get to that. Transitioning to football. So today, Bears got a step closer to finding out where their new home's going to be. And there was action on both sides of the state line. Illinois did everything that they needed to do short of final approval of the bill, of the mega projects bill, I think is what they're calling it. And while everybody thinks that it's related to the Bears, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears are the immediate one, but it could apply to other large projects. And at the same time, Indiana voted through a bill, and it's Elliott, $1 billion, I think they're committed to building the new stadium.
Yeah. So he signed it today. And then I think with the Bears, it goes to the floor next Thursday.
No. Well, I don't know. You may have heard an update recently. What I read is that this is the end of the current session and that they won't have another floor vote until I think it's mid-March. So it'll be another, 2 weeks before this could be considered. So we're not done yet. But anyway, all of this got me thinking. Soldier Field is going to be free on Sundays, but also, they're going to be looking for a tenant.
Maybe the Battlehawks want to play up in Soldier Field.
Well, along those lines, I started to think, who's been banging the drum for a stadium as well,
mm-hmm.
and who could maybe use that space, because the one thing that everybody has talked about and that has never happened is, how do you not have a baseball stadium on Chicago's lakefront? Gentlemen, may I present to you Comiskey Park at Soldier Field?
Their stadium's awful.
Their stadium is awful. Now, what do you think about the possibility you have a stadium where the outfield opens up to the lake and the skyline? And,
well, I like how the skyline has a severe transition if you look in the top right corner.
Yeah, you like that? Look, I wasn't going to put a whole lot of time into this, Ron. I just wanted to illustrate a point. Thanks a lot.
It's not Photoshop. It's Peak Shop.
Yeah, it's Peak Shop. Well, then this next one is going to make you really sick, because I just sort of ham-fisted these two together, but it makes the point. I mean, they already have an upper deck. You could preserve the colonnades. All you got to do is put a new entrance on it and finish the right field side and the outfield. Guys,
I mean, it makes sense. They could do it, and
you wouldn't have to get rid of the existing infrastructure.
Jerry's cheap, so and it gets Illinois out of the paying the rest of the money that's owed on it. The Sox just take it over, and they can pay for that.
Yeah, but what happens to their old venue?
They want out of there anyway. They're not going to build another stadium at 35th and Shields. They're already banging the drum about getting out of there. Remember,
Maybe they can ask the Fire, can we use your stadium?
Well, that was initially the conversation, was that they were going to build their stadium in the 78, but the Fire beat them to the punch. I don't think there's enough space on that parcel to do both and have parking.
Maybe they can.
I'm telling you guys,
George Lucas Museum was supposed to be.
Well, it was.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, this needs to happen. Comiskey Park at Soldier Field. Reinsdorf's make it happen. And if you can't, Ishbia, make this happen.
They would have to knock down all that starship structure that they built around it, right?
No, you wouldn't. I don't think that you would.
I don't think you would. No.
I mean, let's ignore the.
You'd have to
Photoshop
rearrange
skills,
a bit, but
right. Like this is the side. Forget the right side of the picture. Okay. Forget the overlay. That left side of the picture is the colonnades and the spaceship. You could easily turn that into the upper deck. And
why is that netting there? Is it to keep the spaceship from damaging
what netting?
The old structure. Look under Alame. Look under that word.
Yeah, no. I think it's like, I don't know if it's probably structural to support it, but then I think it's glass. I don't think it's netting. I think it's glass.
Oh, okay. I was thought maybe to keep the space.
It's probably like how Wrigley used to be, where they had the steel netting up to keep the crumbling concrete from.
Yeah, but you shouldn't need that on brand new construction.
No.
But I mean, seriously, you already then have half your infrastructure done.
It's Chicago. They have to reinforce things for the piss air eats away at concrete.
Yep. I'm telling you guys, it's what they need to do. They can preserve the colonnades. They've already got their upper deck and the whole left field side. I know. That's right. I'm just going to run right past it like it didn't happen. This needs to be a thing. There's plenty of room for it.
Well, and you also know they'll have plenty of parking because Sox fans don't even show up to their field.
Well, I would think more people would show up if a game was on the lake.
True. I would say easier to get to, more people
way easier
around
than
there. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, but like, okay. The one thing about Bears games, and I'm sure there's bars in a scene a block or two over, but there's nothing.
No, there's not.
That's the problem with that site.
Which site? Soldier Field or Comiskey?
Soldier.
Yeah, there's nothing around Soldier Field. You're right.
What's around Soldier Field? I think that's part of the problem.
There's nothing around either of them, though.
No, I was down there last night too. I was right next to
both of them, so I don't think they're moving into a place of maybe some nostalgia since the Bears have been there forever, right? So that might work for them a bit, but they're still like, not like Wrigley where you walk out of the stadium, walk right into a bar, literally like 13 steps.
Right.
And even in St. Louis, as crappy as some of the places are, at least you got Ballpark Village and bars and stuff like within a block. And that's the problem with that location is you gotta kind of take a little bit of a foot trip to get anywhere, right? Post game or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, and that would be the thing, right? There are places that are, I mean, it would be a walk, right?
I'm sure Gary, Indiana, there's going to be some abandoned factories that they can pop up a couple breweries or whatever,
right.
You know?
Yep. But, look, if you have to distinguish yourself from the more popular team that has a national landmark in the middle of a neighborhood.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining a brewery with this is a house brew and it has this hops, this special Czech hops, and some asbestos from the old roofing.
Comes with steel shavings on the bottom.
Garnished with steel shavings on the phone. Okay, sorry,
I'm surprised nobody has leaned into that and come up with a trough surfer golden ale.
That's a good point.
Right. I'm going to go out and copyright that right now.
On the label, it can be the trough and just one guy on the end, by himself.
No, just a guy surfing along the trough.
By the way, the mugs here are made from the old piss troughs at the factory.
Well, that's definitely going to guarantee that Ozzy will come on for.
Guys, I don't know how long they would have vetted out shows and everything, but if they just had AI listen to a year,
I don't think they need to listen for that long.
Right. You're right.
The AI might shut itself off.
I mean, we have a long time ago nuked any chance to have, like, that's why we get guys like Terrio. Right. And, we
don't sell us short.
We did get Chip Carey, but he didn't know any better.
We did get Chip, and we also got Cat. No, yep. Jim.
Yep.
So,
Jim.
No, Cat.
Danny Mac?
Danny. That's it, Danny.
Yeah. We got Mark Littell. That's our vibe.
That's our 100%. Vibe. More Mark, less Ozzy.
Oh, we would love to have Ozzy.
We'd love to have Ozzy on.
Clean up a show. If you listen, if this episode you chose to listen to vet us out, just ignore everything we said in the last 5 minutes.
That's right.
We'll clean it up for Ozzy.
Yeah, we can. We'll liberally edit if you ask us to. We usually don't, but I'll do the editing, Ron. Relax.
That would take time.
It would, and I've got time right now.
So. Speaking, we would usually talk about logistics after the show. I'm gonna need you to do this one tonight.
Okay. Well, that's good because then we will have less of a drop when it comes to the PCA not playing. We don't need to get into that anyway, because what we need to get into right now is the fact that that the teams that we follow had a good week. And the reason that I will say that they had a good week is because I was busy and I wasn't watching them. I take full blame for everything that happened this week. And to cover it all for us, the man, the myth, the legend, the reason for tonight's show. Building towards this, it's Ron Soccer Minute, brought to you by At the Park STL.
Wow, I'm sponsoring my own shit now. Okay.
You
Didn't realize that was the thing. City. First game of the year. It was a draw. Not my favorite result, but at least it was a 1-1. It wasn't a scoreless. Again, I'm petitioning the league, all leagues, FIFA, that if a match ends in a scoreless draw, that each team is a -1 in points, right? Like they're deducted 1 point because you can't have people traveling, spending time watching something and nobody score any goal. That's a negative point. I hope they listen to me on that one. I think I'm right. It ended a 1-1 draw. Charlotte's a very good team, and Charlotte's returning mostly the same team that they had last year, and they were the third best team in the East. And 1-1 draw. Now Charlotte was on the road in St. Louis, so call it what you will. The confusing part about this game was a couple of things. One, City was not wearing any red at a home game, and that's like, to my memory, that's been the first time ever. They wore the new secondary kit, the gold, and we were watching the game for maybe an hour into it, and my co-host for At the Park STL was over here. His wife was over here. My wife was here. That's a problem because we end up, conversation ends up about everything but soccer. His wife didn't realize we were watching City because they were wearing the gold uniforms. So that was kind of an issue, something to get used to. So they did it on night one, but it was a scoreless draw. City had 70% possession in the first half, which is like unheard of for them. They really controlled the game, controlled the tempo. That was impressive. Second half, it was ebbed and flowed a lot more. Charlotte went back and forth, ended up a scoreless draw, 1-1 draw. I can live with that. I can live with that for these reasons. So many new players were on the pitch playing for the first time together in real competition. Not Coachella, not preseason. They looked a lot more balanced. If you look at the passing maps and attacking maps and everything else, it was like last year you'd see heavy right, heavy left, never much down the center. And if you looked at the passing maps and the heat maps, they were pretty balanced throughout the whole game, both defensively and offensively. They had 22 shot attempts, 11 shots on goal. So they're creating chances. Again, it was a struggle last year. So a lot to build off of. Should I say exciting? Hopefully I'm not getting ahead of my skis here. They signed Sergio Cordova from Venezuela as an attacker, a DP. Now it's a short-term loan, so it only goes to the end of June. But he has MLS experience. And another attacker because they're going to need goal scoring help, even though Simon Betra has looked really good. So a lot to be hopeful for. Now, City's going to get their test this weekend. They're going to play San Diego FC. San Diego's in their second year. They were great last year. They won the West. They beat Montreal 5-0 in their opener. So St. Louis is going to be tested. But I like what I saw on Saturday, and it was fun. It was fun to watch them again. Now they've got a striker. Now he's not going to be ready this weekend. He's going to have to come in, get tested. It'll take him probably a week or two to get fit. So if we're lucky, we'll get 11 games, and he's on loan with an option to buy. He's a designated player. So St. Louis has elected their model. They're going to be 3 DPs. That's how they're going to go at least into the summer transfer window. So if he can integrate with the team well, put up goals, it's like a $2.5 million buying option. So that's good. You know what? I'm satisfied with what I've seen so far. But again, I'll temper my expectations. Their next 3 games are going to be really tough. San Diego, Seattle, then LAFC. All really tough opponents right early on in the schedule. And Charlotte was tough too. So, hey, hopefully they hold their own. On the flip side, Newcastle just has basically demolished Karabag. It was a cumulative 2 wins, outscored them 9-3. So they move on to the final 16 in the Champions League, which is the first ever for them. And Eddie Howe has won the most Champions League games for any English coach in history so far, just this year. Six matches. So notable, but they've got work to do. And there you have it. Take yourself
well
off.
done. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, went a little long.
We're used to it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Maybe
Ron.
Ron's soccer minutes.
Yeah. Ron, you mentioned your proposal. Did you which jogged my memory? Did you guys hear about what the UFL is going to be doing next year? I love this idea. I want to see it happen.
I want to hear about it, but I'm going to take myself off camera for a second.
What is it?
Field goals over 60 yards.
4 points.
For 4 points.
No kidding. Well, they've got nothing to lose in that league. They can risk anything. They can take gambles. They can experiment.
But I mean, you've got all these kickers now who have these huge legs. Why not reward them for that?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I had not heard that, but I love it. I
love it too. And it actually reminded me of one time when Larry David was on the Rich Eisen show. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I think he was kind of goofing around, but not entirely. So he doesn't like field goals. He wants to get rid of kickers immediately. You have 4 downs, you got to go for it. You just keep going for it.
I understand where he's coming from, because the NBA's drawback has been they do nothing but shoot 3-pointers.
Right. And with that, he'd also then be putting the punters on notice. So punters would be gone 2 years after that. But here's the thing he proposed, and I kind of liked it, because Rich Eisen said to him, well, if you don't have kickers, then are there no extra points? And here's what he proposed. If you go for it from the 1 yard line, you get 1 point. If you go for him from the 2 yard line, you get 2 points. And then this is kind of where he got into the joking, where he's like, if you go for it from, say, the 6 yard line, then, or from the 10 yard line, you get 6 points. So you could potentially get 12 points.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously the last one was a joke, but I like that idea.
Paying attention.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea of you get variable extra points and you get 4 points for a 60-yard field goal. I like it.
What if you backed it out to like the 25 and get 10 points?
No, then you just get 2.
I'm here for the 4-point field goal.
I am too. I think it'd be great because it completely changes the calculus. A 4-point game is no longer a 2-possession game. It's potentially a 1-possession game, depending on whether or not you have Brandon Aubrey, right?
Now, let me caveat what I said.
Yeah.
I like the 4-point field goal for the UFL. If you do it for the NFL, you're gonna eventually have analytics and nerds never going for touchdowns anymore. they're gonna start drafting and developing bionic kickers.
They already are.
Joel Linton will come from the Premier League, Newcastle. Have you seen his thighs?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Like as big as a car tire. That's the radius. And so they will just have bionic kickers. No offense will ever advance past the 50-yard line ever again.
I disagree.
And it'll become the NBA of the NFL.
No, I disagree, because you're going to have guys like, this year's Bears. There's no way Cairo Santos is making a 60-yard field goal. If he had a 30-yard run up, he couldn't make it from 60 yards. So Ben Johnson is going to continue to go for it.
Back. But you got the punter who's got a leg, and he potentially could, right?
If he drop kicks it. The only legal field goals.
Drop kick a 60-yard field goal.
It would count.
20 points.
Yeah, there you go. You drop kick a 60-yard field goal. If you're that talented that you can kick the ball a split second after it bounces off the ground and you can accurately put it 65 yards downfield, I'll give you 6 points.
I'll give you 20 points. When's the last drop kick score? Was that Doug Flutie who did it?
No, there was
that
one,
was
I think, last year.
No. He did one in the NFL for the Patriots.
Did he?
Yeah. Look it up.
I'm looking it up.
I know. We can hear your keys chittering away.
I want to say there was a drop kick like in the last 2 years.
The last one I remember is Doug Flutie actually executed one in the NFL.
You're right. And it was in 2006.
God damn.
The last successful drop kick. Oh, but it wasn't a field goal.
Extra point?
It was a point after.
Okay, fine. Partially.
Playing for the Patriots, 43-year-old quarterback executed the kick in the fourth quarter against the Dolphins.
I just made the statement that I have a steel trap. I didn't say it wasn't rusted.
Okay, but you ready for this?
Yeah.
The last previous successful drop kick, 1941.
Just a little bit of a time lapse.
Little bit.
It's a hard thing to do.
Oh, and that also was a point after. You ready? The last successful dropkick field goal, not a point after, believed to be Earl Dutch Clark of the Detroit Lions on September 19th, 1937.
His middle name was Dutch, and it would be.
It would. And of course he had a nickname, because the last guy to make a successful dropkick point after, pre-Flutie, Flutie needs a nickname now, obviously. Because the last one in 1941 was a Chicago Bear, Ray Scooter McLean, during the NFL championship game.
You know, here's the thing, guys. We talk about what baseball needs to do. Again, we talk about these rivalries, shit talking back and forth. I think we got to bring back some nicknames for these people, like good ones, not Chris
100%.
Berman ones, not Chris Berman ones.
No, and not the lazy ones. A-Rod, Man Ram. Well, Man Ram. Depending.
It's not really one I would want.
Depending on his preference of friction.
Yeah. His best friend, Astroglide.
That's right. No, that's his dog.
No, it's when he played for Houston. Where's my, hold on. There we go. Remember where the button was at.
Yes.
Wow, train of thought went away. Sorry. Astroglide. Nicknames. Yeah, we got to bring those back, because I think the caller that used to call in to tell us to stop calling his number, although we weren't calling him, it was that Google number. Yeah. Bud. That's what we called him, Bud. Like that probably wasn't his name, but he had a nickname like that. So
it was probably his name.
Stuff like that has to come back.
When's the last time that you remember having a friend who had a nickname like that?
Well, we had a lot of friends with nicknames, but it was usually not like politically correct.
You're right.
You're talking about in the Marines.
Yeah, Dirty Tony. We had Dirty Tony.
Oh, that's okay. The last friend who I had who had a nickname like that was when I was in high school. And we detasseled the fields out in the boonies of DeKalb County. And his name was Henrik. His parents were Swedish. His name was Henrik. And our crew leader said that that Henrik sounded like Henry. So he started calling him Hank. And it stuck. And it stuck to the point where he was being called Hank at school. And his parents were, not happy about that because his name was Henrik.
That's actually...
But it was Hank.
If I couldn't be Ron, like Hank would be one of the few. I'd be like, call me Hank.
I'm going to remember that. Next week, Hank the Road Warrior returns.
A man's name.
That's right.
Hank.
Hank's a hunk.
Wow. That wasn't really going directly there. I'm like, Hank can survive in the woods.
Probably can. Anything I missed, fellas?
Hank can change his oil or a tire or a muffler.
Do you have to be named Hank in order to be able to do those things? I don't think I can change my muffler, but I can change a tire. I can change my oil.
Yeah, but you're going to look like a sissy doing it. Hank wouldn't do it.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you would have a towel to wipe your hands off. Hank's just fucking wiping on his clothes.
Well, I mean, it depends on what I'm wearing. If I'm wearing this, yeah, obviously I'm going to wipe my hands off. But if I were smart enough to take this off and I've just got the t-shirt on underneath that I have here, wipe my hands on my t-shirt, just throw the t-shirt away when I get home. Because you're not getting those oil stains out.
You just rested my case for me. It was just right there. Okay.
Hey, I can't believe that you didn't say anything about me including the word soupçon in my cold open. You probably don't even know what that means.
No. Do you, Elliott?
I thought you were just slurring your words.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. So that'll do it for us tonight. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure you leave a comment, subscribe, and wherever you get your podcast, give us a 5-star review and tell your friends, especially the ones who think that spring training stats don't matter, but absolutely know which bullpen arm looked sharp today. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. And we also stream live every week on X, Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. So join us here next week and drop a comment in the chat while Ron explains why expanded replay is the future of civilization. Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that. Before we go, ABS. We've had some examples of it.
Skipped it. Yeah. Hey.
Promised it. We got to talk about it. Elliott, first impressions.
I think it's been good. I kind of figured it'd be right around 50-50, which it's kind of been. But
you mean they've missed 50% of the strikes that should have been balls, and then the other 50% of the balls that should have been strikes? Correct. I haven't seen many of them where they were upheld. I've seen a whole lot of overturns.
Guys, it's just
there's been quite a bit. Yeah,
they're playing with it in spring training. Is that
No, it's happening this year.
It's happening this year. I think I knew that, but in my what's the word I'm looking for, Pete? My indifference to baseball at this point. I kind of forgot maybe that it is implemented this year.
No, it is implemented this year. Okay. And there have been some egregious overturns.
Oh my God. It was the Padres game where you were like,
do you mean the call was so bad, but they corrected it with?
Yes. Like I saw one, I think he missed it by 3 inches. There was one game I saw. This guy got overturned 3 times within an inning, like a full inning.
So
he got challenged.
And limit on this, like if they lose a certain amount, like they can't do it. No, it's just they can do it.
They get 2 challenges per game, but in what I've been saying forever, if they get it right, they keep them.
Yeah. Here for it. And they've been getting them right. It sounds like if there's been that many.
Yes. Right? And it's limited to the batter, the catcher, and the pitcher. That's it. Bench can't talk.
As it should be.
It has to be right away. They can't turn and look at the bench for confirmation.
I love that. No, that's the way it should be. That's
well, and that's why they took the box off of the TV so that you can.
They haven't taken the boxes off. What they've taken away is the dot that shows where the ball crosses.
Right.
Okay. Why?
Because they don't want somebody banging on a garbage can in the dugout.
Well, I get that, but usually like the TV broadcast is like a 10-second delay in case somebody yells "fuck" out like that, right? Like you can't.
Well, but the other reason I think it has more to do with the fan experience, that they don't want fans thinking that based on what Fox says the ball was, on whether or not it was a strike.
It's not the official.
Correct. That's not the official strike zone. Right. Although an interesting thing that I didn't know about until I read about it yesterday. Your batting stance has nothing to do with your strike zone. The strike zone. No. The strike zone is taken as a percentage of your height. So they have gone through and they have measured every player, and then they've determined where the zone is. So really, ultimately, where it matters is the top and the bottom of the zone is entirely based on your height.
Well, where I was going with this is that if you measure, like Ricky Henderson's a good example, right? He's a crouch stance,
right?
And he would stay in that crouch. He would stay in that crouch. But when you're swinging, you can't hide the crouch. You can't hide anything else. Even the guys that stand straight up and down. We mentioned George Hendrick.
Yep.
He stood straight up and down, no bend in the knees or anything. Like you'd hear dads in the stands, bend your damn knees, lift your elbow up, Tommy. Evidently, you never played. When you're swinging, if you measure when somebody's swinging, and maybe it's the same calculus they're using, but you can't hide that stuff. Like when you swing to make contact, you know where the letters and the kneecaps are. So
yeah, so it's going to be a challenge for the umpires, but they deserve it because Jose Altuve will legitimately have a different strike zone than Aaron Judge. Right, the bottom of his zone is going to be lower.
Yeah.
Which is going to be more of an adjustment for the pitcher. It's going to be an adjustment for the pitchers, and it's also going to be an adjustment for the umpires. The bottom of the zone is going to come up when Aaron Judge steps into the plate.
So there's huge differences in pitching to Wilt Chamberlain or Frodo Baggins. I mean,
but that's the thing that we haven't seen, because for the umpires, the bottom of the zone was always the bottom of the zone.
Right. Well, I love that this is here, and I cannot wait to see the next version of Angel Hernandez get overturned like 16 times in one game. We can talk about it. It gives us
it's coming, and actually there was an entertaining one. I think it was yesterday. If you didn't see it, look it up. I'm sure you'll find it on X. I don't know that it'll be on YouTube, but look up Matt Olson versus Paul Skeens. Happened, I think it was yesterday. Skeens threw a curveball. It was called a strike. Olson challenged it. It was overturned. He missed the strike zone by 0.1 inch.
It's like VAR in the Premier League, where they measure literally, like if a guy is an eyelash ahead, they pick it up and they show you the 3D of it, and you're like, really?
But you know what? It wasn't a strike.
Yeah.
Like, and by 0.1 of an inch, it's not that it was in the shadow zone, right? Yeah. It was the ball missed the entire strike zone. And they have been giving that. Like I've seen some of the I've seen some of the overlays. If it's this
missed
much
by an atom.
Well, but I mean, the human eye in real time, you're gonna think it caught some of the corner or something. And all right.
Although you wonder, does and Olsen even acknowledged this after the game. Does he challenge that during the regular season? Right.
Stakes are higher. So
the stakes are higher. Was he challenging it because it's spring training and it doesn't really matter? And he just wanted to see, one, he wanted to test his eye, and two, wanted to see how this is
I think when we get into the season, especially late in the season like that, you're gonna have challenges in high leverage moments, not so much in
Yeah, you got to imagine the teams are already having conversations about strategy, about who gets to challenge, who doesn't, and when.
Yeah.
Right. Like Seiya Suzuki, you challenge everything, Seiya.
Oh God,
because
that's going to be one of the biggest ones.
Well, I read it somewhere. Seiya Suzuki suffered the most missed calls in Major League Baseball last year. Like had the most balls called strikes against him, more than any other hitter. So clearly he knows the strike zone. So he's somebody that you let, but somebody who's got a marginal concept of the strike zone, you might tell them, hey, you know what? You can challenge it in the 9th inning, but you're not challenging that shit in the 3rd. You get to challenge when it matters. And I don't think I've seen a pitcher challenge a call yet. I think it's all been catchers. All right. Well, there you go. We promised ABS. We delivered. You can follow us on socials. You can find Elliott at
TOR_Elliott.
And you can find Ron at
Ron Nuttall. Search it. It's out there.
There you go. And Ron's other show, which brings you Ron Soccer Minute.
They owe us money.
They do. You be sure to transfer that money from, account number 2 to account number 1.
He's Mr. Moneybags over there. I'll hit him up.
That's right. Where can people find that? Because I was singing
at the Park STL. At the symbol, the Park STL, everywhere.
And you can obviously follow this show at Team of Rivals Pod. If you'd like to email the show, hot takes, Hall of Fame arguments, or detailed proposals for what you'd do with an empty stadium on the lakefront, you can reach us at teamofrivalspodcast@gmail.com. On behalf of Ron, who fully supports more replay in all of sports, and Elliott, whose contractual obligations to this podcast end the moment that little red light turns off, I'm Pete, and thanks for listening. We'll see you all next Tuesday.